Chargers will succeed in Los Angeles? I'm going to tell you right here. The Chargers officially announced their plans to move to Los Angeles on Thursday. They're gone. They're moving the franchise to Los Angeles after 56 years in San Diego. And despite having an extension, a couple days to say, hey, you guys can, make the decision next week. Nope. And the Chargers quickly changed their Twitter name and showed off a logo that, well, I don't know if we all agree. They got trolled badly. Everyone picked on them. Dean Spanos had until January 17th to exercise the option of moving the team to Los Angeles and said, you know what? We're off and going. And now it's difficult to talk about this. I'm a Chargers fan. I am. Bam, bam, bam. I've been a Chargers fan for 10 years now. 10 years. 2007 was the first year. Yep. It's been a while. I've been a Chargers fan, and all because of Lady Tomlinson. I've talked about this before. The reason I'm okay, and the reason I believe the Chargers will succeed in Los Angeles is because of several reasons. Now, San Diego just wasn't working for both. And I'm going to first state this before Chargers fans, because you're either on one side or the other. You're either happy with the move and you still love the team, or you hate the move and you hate the team. I haven't seen anybody in between. I haven't talked to anybody. I haven't seen anybody that's in between. I'm okay with the move. I'm happy with the move to Los Angeles. And I'm going to hold off to say if I still like the team, because hiring Anthony Lynn, which they just did, the former Bills offensive coordinator and interim coach, as their new head coach, I don't know. That wasn't my first choice. And to say that I don't see how you go from interviewing 4 or 5 defensive coordinators and a special teams guy to you interview one offensive coordinator and he's your guy. I mean, you had to have a perfect interview to steal that job. Because I have nothing against Anthony Lynn. I just don't understand the point of hiring an offensive coordinator as your head coach. Ken Wisenhunt you said you want to keep him. I guess they have the same offensive, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Gus Bradley is most likely the defensive coordinator to interview him today, right now. So he'll likely be. I like that hire. I'm worried. I said last week that if the Chargers move to Los Angeles, and if they completely rebrand, I'm not a fan. I like the Chargers. I like the colors. I like the uniforms. I don't want a new team. I'm not going to call them the LA Express, the Stars, the Lightning, the whatever. I'm not calling them a different name. I won't be a fan of them anymore. So I know that's a little weird based off I'm going off of how they're going to look. That's just how it is right now. My thought process of why they should have either stayed or didn't stay, just look at the past couple seasons. And I'm talking about past couple years. A Qualcomm Stadium. Look at the different home games. I'm throwing up the bunny ears again. They weren't home games. When you have more Broncos fans, and I can understand the Raiders aspect because the Raiders very popular in California. And there's some people that say, and I can agree that there are more Raiders fans in Los Angeles and it makes more sense for them to go there. Fine, I don't care. It didn't happen. They're going off to Las Vegas, apparently. But if you look at the games against the Patriots, the games against the Broncos, the game against the Packers, games against just about any other team that we've hosted, and it's either split right down the middle, or there are more opposing fans than there are Chargers fans in San Diego. So for those that were saying, we love the Chargers, we want them to stay, there was no support. And then that counter argument comes right back. Well, look at the product on the field. Well, either you go and support them when they're doing iffy or bad, or you don't support them at all, and that team's gone. And that's what happened. You're either a fan through and through, when they're doing good, back in 06, 07, we're riding high, or this past couple seasons, we're riding low. You show up. You didn't. You didn't vote. You had a chance to vote multiple times, And the most recent one, a ballot measure for a new downtown stadium, coupled with an expansion of a convention center, was voted down 57% to 43%. You didn't want the team to stay. You didn't want them in San Diego. Yes, could Spanos family, did they handle this completely wrong? Absolutely. There were much better ways. And honestly, I can contest that maybe this isn't the best owner group in the NFL. I can agree with that. Both sides screwed up. But to blame it all on the Chargers, which I'm seeing all the San Diego media, and of course I understand the beat writers and the radio hosts, the sports radio hosts in San Diego that are, their jobs are there, their families are there, and that they no longer will cover the Chargers. Maybe that cuts their salary, which is already probably pretty low because radio hosts, we don't get paid that much. And so I can understand their frustration. But to blame it all on the Chargers organization and not take some responsibility for those people in San Diego, you're blinded. And it's partially your fault. If you didn't show up, and I get, well, I didn't have money to go to a game. You know, I can understand that. You know, I get not everybody in San Diego had enough money to go pay for some Chargers tickets. No, I have looked on StubHub. I have looked on Ticketmaster. Some tickets aren't that expensive, and especially the way that they've been playing the past few years. There's been a few good amount of tickets that you could have gone to support. But for the Chargers to play an estimated 14 games basically on the road, why stay in San Diego? Why stay? When you've had so many, you've had chances to vote. You've had the Spanos family put up money. You've had the Chargers and the NFL put an extra $100 million to make it happen, to stay in San Diego, to build a brand new stadium. And you failed to get it done. The mayor failed. The city officials failed. Now, that also goes partially on Spanos for not connecting better with them. And I can also say that Spanos most likely just wanted to move to LA, wanted the stardom, right? Wanted the name, the title of the Los Angeles Chargers. I can agree with that. And so what I'm saying before, I know I'm going to get hate in the comments either way, but what I'm saying is this is on both sides. The city of San Diego, both the citizens and the city officials, including the mayor, who I absolutely dislike, and the Spanos family, it's on both sides. And if you were completely blindsided, that I know there's one guy that the NFL, I was watching NFL.com, they're streaming whatever, and when it all happened, because I thought there was going to be a press conference, which Spanos, of course, again, I'm not a huge fan of him either. I just love the team. I love the team for whatever reason. I love this team, even though they break my heart every season. So let's move on because I started ranting. All right. So let's see. Spanos expected to pay the $550 million relocation fee over 10 years rather than make the payments to extend beyond the additional $100 million. The club will pay roughly $12 million to buy out its lease of Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. Then relocate their training facility to Orange County sometime before July 1st. So another thing I disagree with how the Chargers did this is where they're going to be playing their next home games. 30,000, that's max, and that's being roughly, most people are saying it's really 27,000 seats. Some people even said it was 24,500 seat facility at the StubHub Center in Carson, California. It's where the LA Galaxy plays, soccer team. They're promoting, of course, they got to find some kind of type of benefit out of it. It's a one-of-a-kind product that gives fans an opportunity to be up close and personal with players. I don't understand this. You're going to play in a small stadium, the smallest stadium in the NFL. The second smallest is Oakland's Coliseum, which is like 52,000 and some change, right? This is going to be anywhere from the range of 24,000 to 30,000 max. And and I'm kind of worried. There's not going to be. I know the jokes are that they won't sell it out. They will sell it out. They will sell out. which is great, right? They'll sell out the stadium. The bad part is you don't know how many of those are actually going to be Chargers fans, and especially when the Raiders come to that game, because you obviously have to play them in the AFC West, and they come to play in that stadium. You can't do it like college where you allocate X many amount of tickets to just Chargers fans. If that place is filled with black and silver, which there's a high possibility that 90% of that will be Raiders fans, that's going to be bad. That's going to be very, very bad. And the way the Raiders are playing right now, and the way the Chargers are, who knows how they could play by that time, it's leading up to something kind of bad. So, and there's a belief that it helps differentiate them from the Rams. The Rams who, obviously that preseason game, 90,000 opened, and I think we all expected that. I don't think any of us expected 90,000 for the Rams every single game, right? Ended up being like the last game was half empty in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. So it's like, okay, you're not going to go there and play there, which would have been tough. You already have USC that plays there on Saturdays, and then the Chargers and the Rams trying to split that. It would have been tough. But there's also like the Rose Bowl, which the Los Angeles Times wrote a pretty good, somewhat article. It was a live update so people could chat in there. But it was pretty good to see how this could have been like a UCLA USC type rivalry. You could have had the Chargers in the Rose Bowl, which UCLA also plays at. And you could have had, the Rams play in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, which the USC Trojans play, and you would have had your own little thing, and that would have been pretty cool. And the Chargers playing the Rose Bowl would have been perfect. Now, I don't know how much of that was realistic, and I don't even know if that was even talked about. But it didn't seem like much of this for the Chargers was talked about. That new logo that you're seeing right up here, that is their working logo, hasn't been approved by the NFL, and thank God, and hopefully it doesn't, because that thing is ugly. That honestly looked like Dean Spanos told an intern at about 4 o'clock in the morning whenever they announced this move that, hey, I need you to make a quick logo. I got you, fam. Dodgers, LA, put a little lightning bolt at the end. And of course, it got made fun of, you have people put lame or LOL and Michael Jordan's face, inside the logo. It was going to happen. And then you had other teams. You had the Tampa Bay Lightning, which is a logo very, very similar to what the Chargers decided to make. You have obviously the Dodgers. You've had the Lakers, the Clippers, the SMU Mustangs. There's another team, the Dallas Stars. Everybody was making fun of the Chargers, which is kind of bad as a Chargers fan. So, in all, the Chargers, I'm going to be a fan of them. I'm going to be a fan of them. If they go completely crazy and they make their uniforms and their new logos start looking like an arena league or something that just looks unprofessional, I'm done with the team. I wanted the team in LA. I got what I wished for. Let's hope they can actually close it out. I need someone to sell me on Anthony Lynn. I'm not a fan of him right now as the head coach of the Chargers. I wish him best of luck. Of course, this is my team. So I'm wishing him best of luck. For the fans that are in San Diego, I hope you can still make the travel to Los Angeles and support the team there. I understand it's also apparently a 4-hour drive with traffic, so I can understand if you don't go. It's just one of those things, but there's no just blame on just one side. It's not just Dean Spanos and the Chargers organization, and it's not just the city officials and the fans in San Diego. It's both. Both screwed up. Both failed to handle this properly, and it just ended in an ugly, ugly breakup. Go Chargers!